Hey guys, Annika here with the Anderson Hicks Group. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about how not all lenders are created equal. There are different types of lenders out there, and I want to talk about the difference between a retail lender and a brokered lender. Is that the right phrase? And so I brought Kiersten here, Kiersten Landers with Empire Home Loans, and she's going to explain what that difference is and how it can benefit you and save you a lot of money. You ready? Let's get started. Kiersten.
Yes.
Can you explain to me why someone might use a retail lender, or actually explain what a retail lender is first?
Yeah. So it's like what you're saying, retail. If you think about going into a retail store, you go in and you buy a product, and when you buy that product, you're buying it with the markup behind it as well. So typically when you go to Walmart, for instance, and you want to go buy, I don't know, a package of bottled water, you're buying that bottled water, but you're also paying for overhead, marketing, other sorts of expenses that have been put into promoting that product and selling that product. And so that winds up being charged to you, the end user. And so much like the retail model, that's what a retail banker does, is that they pretty much package a loan and sell it to you with all those other extras behind it.
And is there anything wrong with a retail lender?
No, and I think retail bankers are great.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a lot out here, and there's a lot of lenders who have great programs. We've got access to Idaho housing and first-time home buyer programs. And then there's fees, and every lender kind of has like their different fees and how they can work those numbers. So now let's talk about what a broker is.
Yep. So broker is typically associated with a wholesaler. And again, going back to the same sort of distribution model where I just discussed earlier about retail, wholesale is much like as it sounds, where you would go and actually buy the product directly from the manufacturer or the person who produces the product. So you're cutting out the middleman or the retail, and you're essentially going directly to the manufacturer, so to speak, to buy that loan. And with that, there seems to be, or there is, less fees associated with having that loan.
Yeah, so I want to talk about the difference in the fees for sure, and then I also want to talk about the difference in programs and how that can be different from a retail lender. So first tell me exactly how maybe retail lenders' fees are worse, better, or just different than what you have to offer.
Yeah, so they typically include underwriting fees, origination charges, all sorts of fees that actually pay for a lot of people along the way in the entire process from start to finish for your loan. Working with a wholesaler like myself, I'm able to remove a lot of those fees because it's just myself on my team and my processor. And so we remove a lot of those middlemen and we pass those savings on to you.
Recently, we were talking about kind of comparing actual numbers to numbers. And I said, Kiersten, here is an example of what a retail lender is charging one of my clients. How is your number different? Do you remember what that number was?
A little over $6,000.
That you could save when going with a broker. Yeah. And so there's a time and a place for every type of lender. And there's just also the convenience. Like I like to bank with a local bank. And so some people like to use their local bank for a mortgage company. And so if you're not worried about higher interest rates or more fees, and you just want the convenience of it all being in the same place, like I just want to work with my bank, I've got my banker, I've been using them for 40 years, totally get it. But if your bottom line is more important, like you're just looking at how you can save the most money, then talking to a broker would probably be a better option because there's just a better way or more options in regards to finagling that price, right?
That's true. And typically retail banks charge a 1% origination fee. Origination fee is essentially the charge for buying that interest rate. And as a broker, I don't always have to charge that 1% origination fee for that same interest rate. And what's nice about that is it gives you some leeway and some leverage to shop between myself or retail banks or anyone else that you might be looking for a mortgage. But what I really appreciate about that is I can typically match a retail bank's interest rate with a lower charge or lower origination fee.
That's really cool. And this was new to me because I don't think it's as public knowledge for people in the real estate industry, because we have the retail lenders that we've been working with forever. And I feel like brokers are harder to come by. And it's new, but it's exciting. And I don't know how new it is. It's just new to me. But it's exciting to hear that I can save my clients, potentially you, money when you're buying your next home. So now let's talk about how the programs are different. So how is someone working with you different than working with a retail lender?
Retail lenders work within a box, and they like to offer just certain products. They're pretty run-of-the-mill, standard, conventional FHA, VA, RD. You may have heard a lot of those abbreviations before, and that's because they're out there. They're typical verbatim for banks to advertise those kinds of home loans. But with a broker, I have access to over 47 different lenders.
Oh my gosh.
So it's crazy. That means I have access to all sorts of different kinds of loans, ranging from commercial loans to chattel loans to USDA loans. It's actually, there's so many, it's hard to name all of them. But what I love as a broker for realtors like Annika is that I give them the capability to be more diverse and to offer you more programs, to give you more ammunition to buy the kind of home or the kind of property you might be interested in, and saving you money too.
I love that. And who doesn't love saving money? This is something that is super important, because I will get a call very frequently where someone says, I thought I could buy my first home, but my bank says I can't and I'm not qualified. And I say, well, hold on. Just because one person tells you no doesn't mean it's no. It might mean just no for them. They might not be able to loan on the certain property that you have, or they have like higher requirements that are more strict or something. So it doesn't mean the first no you get, it doesn't mean that it's 100% no. So then in that call that I say, you know what, call my friend Kiersten at Empire Home Loans, see if she has anything different to offer. See if she can qualify you. And then if she can't, because it could be a matter of credit score, it could be a matter of work history, like if you don't have a job, you can't buy a house, but then she will come up with a plan for you and look at all the different programs that she has and says, this program we could get you into in maybe like a year from now or in a few months if you pay down these credit cards. And so it's so important that when you hear no, to know that it doesn't mean 100% no. It means let's try and something else. Let's try a broker like Kiersten and see if that works for you.
Yeah, know that no doesn't mean no.
Yeah. Know that no doesn't mean no.
But yeah, and it's true. So don't feel defeated, because there definitely is a way to getting a home, even if it feels like it's something so distant or so complicated to achieve. Annika and I work in tandem. We like to work together to help you achieve that home ownership goal that's important to us. Just because you have a low credit score, you have debt, or you have student loans doesn't mean you can't qualify. It just means you need to start having those conversations to know how you can qualify.
And on that note, just one of the last things I want to ask is, let's say you have a really low credit score. Does that mean you can't buy a house?
So I'm actually able to qualify people with a 600 credit score. So I can get pretty low.
That's awesome.
And if you have a lower credit score than that, I'll just work with you and helping you raise your credit score. And 600 is pretty achievable, especially when you're in the mid 500s anyhow. I love that program. I love being able to get people into a home, because sometimes you do need to buy a house, and time is of the essence. And so we don't always have time to get your credit score to a higher point. But if we can start with at least 600, I think we have something to work with.
That's so cool. So as you can tell, there are differences between retail lenders and brokered lenders. There's a place for all of them, and I totally get it, and it's ultimately your decision. I just want to be a resource and make sure that you know that there are options. There are a lot more options that your local bank is not telling you about, because of course they're competitors.
Yeah.
And so I want to make sure that we just are very open and honest about how many options there really are when it comes to buying your home. So thank you, Kiersten, so much for joining me, and thank you for tuning into my channel. If you like more videos like this, or you just want to know more about Idaho Falls and the surrounding areas, then hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, and you'll be the first to know about all things life in Idaho Falls. We'll see you next time. Bye.